and what I'm really interested in hearing about the economics, any data you've got about the financial savings and things like that.
Okay. The project encompasses all 17 schools, everything but Oldbury, and this is 2 of the schools that are working right now, and basically we're bringing all the controls in all 17 schools up to a level where they'd be accessible to people with the right security level, passwords, to get to the different schools. I'm going to look at, we have Hoover Freshman Center and Shades Mountain are the only 2 schools on the system right now, and so you could pick the school, I'm going to pick Hoover, and then you can go look at the equipment in each area. Okay, what that is the list of all the air handlers on the first floor of this school. And you can, from the color codes, you can tell what the temperature set points are, what the room temperatures are, and what the leaving temperature from the air handler is, so you can tell whether the unit's working or not. And if you get a hot complaint, you can answer a lot of questions from the maintenance building, not from having to drive out to the school. And the other big saving is the ability to schedule equipment. And one of the questions asked how easy it is to do it. You get a point and click, schedule days and hours, and if you're on a piece of equipment or a whole floor, and you set the hours, in 30 seconds you can change the schedule. In the summertime you can drop out Fridays. If you go to 10-hour days, whatever it is, it's real easy to set the schedules. So there are 2 big benefits. One is easy scheduling, and that's the best way to save money by turning equipment off. And then you're going to save on maintenance because they're going to be able to do more troubleshooting remotely. I don't know if you ever, you want to take your car to the shop when it's broken. It's always, when you get there, it's working, and you can't tell what's wrong. You have a hot call, you go out there, and by the time they drive 20 miles to get there, the unit's working, and nobody knows what happened. But with a system like this, you can trend. You can take every 5 minutes, you can get it to record the temperature, is the compressor on, compressor off, and then the properly trained maintenance person can look at that and say, oh, this is what's wrong with this unit. I do need to fix it. So that's what we're trying to bring all 17 schools up to that level.
So we've never had a centralized place where we could control all the schools.
Well, the technology started in the 90s.
We do or we don't?
Yes, the technology started back in the 80s. In the 90s, when y'all first started your school systems, you would have let's say, a trained air conditioning control system, and you had a computer that could only communicate with that school, with that trained air conditioning system. And Jeff was just telling me what happened when that worked good over the hardwire, Bell South hardware lines, but when y'all switched to voice over IP, the communication, he said the fax machines worked, but the communication between the control systems and the modems didn't work on the controller, so they lost a lot of the ability to control the buildings remotely. With a system like this is web-based. You can get to this with passwords. Anybody through the web can get to these controls, and then with another level of security, the principal or somebody will have the ability to change the schedule or the set point in a room. And these 17 schools are made up of 3 different manufacturers, Trane, Invensys, and Honeywell, and from this front end, they're invisible. I mean, the different systems, it doesn't make any difference.
Who do you call when the Trane or Robert Shaw, if you will, or Honeywell controller fails?
You call, well, I think one reason you have 3 systems is because your maintenance personnel are getting to be very adept at working each one. Instead of having 17 different manufacturers, you got 3. So a lot of this stuff, y'all's people are getting the technical skills to replace the black boxes or control. But if a Honeywell system goes down, you can call Southeastern Controls. If the Trane system goes down, you can call Trane. You want a local contractor.
So we're going to have reduced HVAC staff as a result.
Well, when we did our staffing profile, we did. We had a number of profiles that we had. Actually, we're down 2 positions. That was a component of
basically we determine the number of people that we need to service the equipment that we're dealing with now in the manner that we're having to deal with. And with the installation of this system, the only extra requirement would be, we would need a person that would be the go-to person for the entire system. And we could take one of the existing people that we have now and train that person to do that, which means we wouldn't replace one that retired or quit. And then the extra position that we were gonna bring online, we're not gonna have to bring online at this point.
Let me ask you this then, get down to details here. Have we ever had a system that cost $150 a month that would tell us what energy usage is taking place even now to a 15-minute interval, so that on a monthly basis you could see a trend that went up or down?
Well, yes, we do, Energy Direct. And, you know, that is.
Question, I know.
I know, it was a loaded question, but, what Energy Direct does for us is only a very small part
Controls nothing.
of what the controls will do for us.
I mean, again, I'm not having a problem with the control system, the concept and the functionality of it. But, you know, I probably wouldn't know enough to be dangerous because I'll put it that way.
Is this person 24 hours a day?
Well, you know, don't focus on just one person, because Jeff.
Well, I mean, does this system have to be?
You step in here too now. Most of our HVAC personnel are well-versed in using our control system and responding to our control system.
But 24 hours a day?
24 hours a
We
day.
I
have
don't care if it's
somebody-
one person or 10 people, is this something that has got to be?
No.
It doesn't have to be monitored. We have an on-call person that's on call 24 hours a day that just has a pager that, you know, or a radio you can call. And all of our technicians now can go in and change this. We say one person is, if a principal needs a schedule change, they would email to schedules or whatever we would set up for that to go to. Like at Deer Valley, they've got a PTO meeting tonight and a presentation. They called the shop and they tried to get a hold of somebody to change it. Well, we've got it changed, so it should be running tonight at Deer Valley. And by the same token, we'd have one person that would be responsible for those, or that would check that one mailbox and make sure everything was taken care of before the end of the day. So, and I'm sure everybody in here has been in the building when it was hot and not running and looking for somebody to find a way to get it to come on.
So right now, some of the schools you can get to remotely and make adjustments. Some of the schools you can make adjustments on site, and some of the schools they're just running, and you can't you can't change the set points, you can't turn them on and off. The controls are just in self-control. I mean, you can't adjust them.
Let's say there's some parts, replacement parts. Are we gonna stock, are we currently stocking if there's something about, are we stocking parts that are required for repair? Do we do that now, and are we gonna?
We try not to stock any part on site that we know is locally available to us, because we can buy ahead and we might need that part, we might not need that part. We've expended that money when we may not need it. So we try to make sure that everything that we need is locally available to us. Now, there will be some parts that will not necessarily be locally available, but we can typically get them overnight. It may take a couple of days in some cases. For example, if we have to replace a compressor, we're probably not going to get that overnight. We're going to end up getting that, tomorrow or maybe even next week, depending on the type of compressor it is.
That's inevitable though, Gary.
Yeah,
If you're gonna
it
be
is.
totally efficient,